Call my landlord and say, hey, I got some knowledge to give you.
A lot of love.
I got a lot of love to give you. I
You
got
might
some
be able to pay him with love, low-key.
Okay, relax.
I think you're being insensitive.
Okay. Lost community, I lost friendships, I lost relationships because I was so focused on my work.
Do both of those people have the same amount of money?
They do, but time is money, baby.
That plays so much?
So good.
Pan de queso.
Yeah, it's called pan de queso, and they basically, it's like these little cheese balls. You know that?
When I'm thinking of you, hey, let's fall all night long, skyrim dreams until we get it on.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Two Thoughts, One Conclusion. And this is a show where we help you guys break the curse of your old self and help you step into the new version that you always dreamed about. If you're looking or interested in becoming a better father, mother, son, daughter, partner, friend, then the show is for you.
Yeah.
All right, we have an interesting one for you guys today. It's definitely lighter than our last one for sure.
For sure.
But I think it's going to be an interesting topic, and I feel like we haven't done as much research or haven't talked about it a lot. So this is going to be us kind of rambling, but I think that's important, or that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, this truly is going to be off the cuff. I have an idea of what he's going to say, but we haven't talked about it, so this is going to be fun to see where the conversation goes.
All right.
You want to tell him the topic?
I do.
Tell him.
The topic is, what is true wealth?
Yeah.
I can answer.
Please, take it away.
My mind, when I think about this question, it immediately goes to what's important, right? My mind doesn't even go to like monetary things, right? So when I thought about it, what is real wealth? For me, it's self-love, self-acceptance, and self-happiness.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
isn't that beautiful?
Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
When I thought about this question, I did not think of money straight away. I didn't think of money straight away, but I also thought of what's important and what are my pillars. I like to look at my life in separate pillars.
Okay.
And for me, it was knowledge, health. I had two more on there, I think. Let me check my notes.
Yeah.
Oh, knowledge, health, family, and relationships.
You just told the people you were freestyling and you got notes.
Oh, I know. Well, I thought about it this morning and I was like, oh, that's good. I'm going to write that down. That's literally all I have. If I could show you, I have nothing more.
Respect. She doesn't have anything more.
Just four things.
All right, what was it? Tell it back to the people again.
Yeah, so it's knowledge, health, family, and relationships. And so when I was breaking these down, again, I did not think of money straight away. And I immediately thought of like, okay, well, I'm sure people are going to be like, okay, cool, like self-love, knowledge, like that's all well and good, but I got bills to pay.
When I think about it from a monetary perspective, I think there's like two aspects for me that kind of like break it down, right? And the first one is like, it's like my political answer, which like part of me really wants to believe, which is you only need enough to survive or to satisfy your needs. And then there's another part of me that's like being born in America of greed and wanting more and more and more is like real wealth is supplying what you need and also what you want.
So you would say, I guess rephrasing the question a little bit is like, you feel wealthy if you're working a minimum wage job and making just enough to supply what you need, and you feel rich, you feel wealthy, like you feel like you have abundance if you have accomplished self-love, happiness, etc.
Me, no.
Okay.
No, because I think minimum wage, you still need more than that.
Okay.
Like, I don't think you could have the life that, for instance, that I'm trying to live with marriage, kids, etc., working minimum wage, right? To me, the needs would be a little more, right?
Okay.
Like, I think everybody's needs are different. My needs are, I didn't travel a lot growing up, and traveling is very important to me, so I want to make sure I do that with my kids. Could I do that on a minimum wage salary? I don't know. So those are, I'm adding that into my needs, right?
Got you.
So for me, my needs couldn't be minimum wage job.
Gotcha.
However, it could be someone else.
Sure.
Maybe someone that doesn't want kids. Someone that's cool living in an apartment their entire life.
Fair.
You know, doesn't matter where it's at as long as they don't even have to have a bed, you know, but that's their situation, right? So that's the stubborn part of me. It's like the political answer. But
Okay.
the other part is like my real answer, I would say.
Which is?
Needs and wants. You have to make enough money if we're talking monetary aspects, you have to make enough money to be able to supply your needs and your wants. That's real wealth. And I'm not talking like, oh, I want $100 million mansion, like, but I guess it's all relative to
What you want.
what you really want.
Yeah.
But like, there's also like a perspective of like realistic and unrealistic, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
So am I ever going to get $100 million house? I don't want one. I also don't need one, but someone may
Yeah.
say, oh, I want that.
Yeah.
But like realistically, are you going to get that?
Right.
What do you think about that?
Well, when I asked because that was the first question or the first rebuttal that came to mind was like, cool, but how are you going to pay your bills with which mine were knowledge,
love.
family. Yeah, it's like, great. Like, let me go call my landlord and say, hey, I got some knowledge to give you.
A lot of love.
I got a lot of love to give you. I
You
got
might
some
be able to
family.
pay 'em with love, low-key.
Okay, relax. And where my mind went was, so let's take one of the pillars, like knowledge, for example.
Yeah.
For me, I have been very fortunate to have a father who has taught me a lot about investing and a lot about how to save my money and how to budget and what to invest and
Shout out to you, Pops.
Yeah, very, very grateful for that because a lot of people don't have that. That's not a common thing.
Yeah.
And so that knowledge that he's given me of investing and how to use my money and how to budget, etc., has granted me the luxury of putting my money into places and not having to worry about it because I have the knowledge that is giving me confidence that I'm going to be taken care of.
Yeah, I would agree. It's the same. Like I look at that as the same aspect as mine. It's like wanting, like supplying all your needs and your wants, right? And that's not checking your bank account.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's being able to just go in. If you want that, you can
Go
buy
freely.
It. Yeah.
When I think something that you touched on too, of like working the minimum wage job wouldn't be wealth for what you are looking for. And I think knowing you, like you're somebody who has a lot of ambition and you want to put your time and effort into something that you care about and that you love. So
For
I think
sure.
working a job that isn't bringing you happiness, which you said is one of your things of wealth, wouldn't make you feel wealthy.
Yeah.
So I think it's like looking at the end of the day, like, okay, how can I achieve that? And what are the core things that will allow me to take those steps day by day to get there? And aligning yourself with that will eventually bring you to that space of wealth.
Not gonna lie, I am lost.
You're
I am so lost by what you're saying. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm like trying to follow. I'm like, I am lost.
you said yeah like 3 times.
I'm super lost.
Okay, well, then
I'm
don't worry about it.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sure when we watch it back, I'll be
It'll
like,
make
oh,
sense.
okay, that's what you were saying.
Hopefully it makes sense to you guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's making some sort of sense.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Is there a salary amount that you think is like the pillar for Americans to reach wealth?
I think it touches into what you're saying of like wants and needs.
Sure.
But I would say it's like a common thing for people to like have the desire or the goal to hit 6 figures. Like I think people see that number and they're like, man, if I hit 6 figures, then like
Yeah.
I've done it. I would say but I think most Americans find a lot of happiness and feel very wealthy and like can live like a nice luxurious life
Yeah.
at the like 60 to 80 range. Like I don't think the 6-figure, like when you really break it down, like if you're at 80, like is $20,000 really gonna like move the needle?
Yeah. So there's like an interesting stat.
Okay.
It's a pretty older stat, so they may have debunked it by now, but
Okay.
Your level of happiness doesn't exceed past $75,000 a year.
Oh, I've heard of something like that before.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because if I were to answer that question, I would say around $80,000. I feel like you would be able to live a great life,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. Like you'd be able to supply all of your necessary wants and needs. Could still take a trip here and there. Now, mind you can't have 8 kids.
Yeah.
But
Well, the government will give you some money for that. Don't they do that?
they do. You get a decent amount for your
Yeah.
taxes. But yeah, I think $80,000 would be my pillar of like success. And now you can't live in San Francisco,
Right.
make 80 grand. I'm talking like Indiana, Texas, these type of places, right? You can't live in New York, right?
Yeah.
But I think $80,000, and then that's not even including if you have a spouse.
Right. A double
Right.
income home. I mean, you're living pretty nice on that salary. Because I think once you hit that 6-figure mark, right, which is, I think, a goal a lot of people are like trying to achieve. I think once you hit that, you start realizing like, what's the difference between 100,000 and 120? Especially after taxes. Like, it doesn't mean that like now that I'm making 120, I can like start flying first class. Like, it doesn't, your lifestyle does not shift that much.
Let's just say you were making 100 grand a year,
Yeah.
right? You're in the 6 figures, and you got a bonus that was $20,000. That's a lot of money. You wouldn't be like, no, it ain't doing nothing. This 20,000 ain't changing my life. It's not changing. It's not gonna change your life. Like, your lifestyle is not gonna go from where you can afford this and now you can afford this.
Yeah.
But it definitely is like a.
Right, but we're not talking about the bonus. We're saying if your base salary goes from 80,000 to 100,000.
Exactly.
After taxes, I don't think you're seeing that big of a difference.
Yeah, but if you went from 100 to 120, what's the difference between 80 to 100? In the form of a bonus or it comes out.
Right,
to the
I
same.
guess I think the difference between the bonus and the base salary is that the bonus is coming all at once, whereas the base salary, you're still it's like coming through a paycheck, like chunk by chunk by chunk. If you gave me all 100,000 of my salary all in one day, yeah, it's gonna make a difference. That's gonna make a huge difference.
Why?
Well, because I have all that money readily available today to use and to disperse it out however I choose.
You wouldn't argue that that's the same amount of money?
No, because if I had the 20,000 to, like, I can't go put a down payment on my house with like, I can't tell me, well, 1 second, like I'm gonna get the other amount like later in the year. It's like, no, we need the 20,000 today, right?
That's a good point. But
So I think getting the 20,000 all in one chunk definitely makes a difference. But if we're talking base salary, but I get what you're saying.
yeah, because I could debunk what you just said. Because
Okay.
Yeah, but
Of
we're not.
course you can.
Yeah, we're not going to go down that route because we're not going to go down that route. But again, let's just keep it in your scenario for purposes, right? Simple purposes. If we go from 80 to 100, so basically you just got a 20% increase. You wouldn't think that that's significant?
I think it's significant in the moment. In the moment, you're like, whoa, this is huge, like everything that I can do. But I think when you break it down, I don't think your lifestyle changes that much. Maybe you can afford to eat out a little bit more. Maybe you can afford to like buy the extra few things at Target. Like, I think you're able to do a little bit more, but I don't think you're like, oh, like now I can buy the house and now I can get that car and now I can, like, if you couldn't get it at 80, I don't think you could get it at 100.
I guess what I'm saying is like I'm not disagreeing in terms of like the lifestyle, right? Because if you go from 80 to 100 and you're trying to buy an $800,000 house, not. But it's all relative.
Yeah.
But I think 20%, like for instance, right? You said earlier that your dad taught you a lot about investing. Yes or no? Because I don't want this. I don't want you to go. I don't want you to give me the whole.
I hate when you give me the
backstory.
yes or no scenarios.
Yes or no? If your stock jumps 20%,
Okay.
is that a huge amount? Yes or no?
Yes. But that's different.
How?
Because that's money.
No, wait. Before you answer, how would it be different? And the only reason I say this is because you own the money that you have invested in the stock, and your money you own just like went up in value by 20%. Your salary, it's money that you receive, just went up by 20%. How is that not?
Because there's a difference of having the 20% today versus the 20% dispersed out through a year.
So it's not about the overall value of the money.
It's about what I have today to use. What's in
Got
my
it.
bank account right now?
Got it. So,
And so that's why I also think the bonus scenario is different. I agree. The bonus and an investment going up 20% in one day, that's huge.
got it. So if I was a person who got from 80 to 20 and I got my $100,000 today and never spent it versus the person who got it at the end of the year, do both of those people have the same amount of money?
They do, but time is money, baby. And one whole year waiting for 100,000 versus getting 100,000 today.
But I think you're taking the question and switching it around.
What am I switching up?
You said your lifestyle doesn't go up from 80 to 100. If you were to make $100,000 in a year, whether you had it now or at the end of the year, to your point, could you afford this thing? Does your lifestyle change? No, because when you go to the bank to buy a house and you say, "Oh, this is what I have," you can't, just because you have $100,000 in cash and your salary says you're gonna make $100,000, doesn't mean you can't afford more things. You can't afford the same amount of things. So it's the same amount of money, regardless of whether you have it today or in a year.
Or if it takes you a year to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is the same amount of money. That's a fact. Can't deny that. If you have $80,000 and you give me $20,000 today, I can do something with that $20,000, whether it's invest it into things that could generate money quicker than waiting for a whole base salary to pay out. You get me?
I'm not disagreeing that it's not a lifestyle change. I don't think it's a lifestyle change, but I would still say 20% increase is huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I think we're saying the same thing.
Well, you added
No?
in this whole extra part about like you get it now. 20% is a big deal.
Yeah. I think that touches on the fact that most Americans have been like, not conditioned, but I guess like we've been told that like a 2%, 3%, I think it's like you're supposed to get like a 3% raise, and like that's huge. But when you're making $60,000 and you get a 3% raise, that's like what, an extra $50 a month?
I'm telling you this. I think you're being insensitive.
Okay.
I think you're being insensitive because 60 grand is a lot to a lot of people.
It is.
3% raise is a lot to a lot of people. $50 now means you can afford maybe a gym membership every month. Maybe you can afford Netflix every month.
Fair.
You can afford that extra whatever it is, right? $50 goes a long way depending on.
That's fair.
Okay, so I think that's significant. So let's just say that's 3%. You added 17 more on top of that. Again, I'm in agreement with it's not a lifestyle change. You can't go from driving a Honda to getting a Bentley, but it's significant enough to make a difference in your life.
Fair.
This is 2 thoughts, 1 conclusion. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page. 80 to 20, we're both in agreement of that. It's not going to change your lifestyle dramatically, right? You're not going to go from driving a Honda to driving a Bentley.
Right.
Right? It's not, but it is a significant amount of money. It is a 20% increase, which I would agree that is a pretty big jump.
Yeah.
You mentioned that, and I agree with you in this in a statement, I guess, is that Americans have this vision of making 6 figures. $100,000, it's like this thing, and now you've made it. Why do you think that is, number one? And number two, do you think that's true?
The reason I think it is because when you do start working, you start realizing how difficult it is to get there. Like how the ladders that you have to climb to achieve that. But when you're starting at a base salary at $60,000 and you get a 5% increase, you're still got a ways to go till you hit that 6 figures. So I think that's why it's difficult, and for everybody knowing the politics behind why it's difficult makes it be like, dang, you hit 6 figures? Like, I know you had to grind for that. You know, like there's like a common like nod of the hat, if that's a thing, of like,
yeah,
well done, like you hit it. But to your second question, is it worth it? Or like, what was it? Like, do you find...
do you think that when you hit 6 figures, like, you've made it,
basically? That you've made it. It's cool for a moment, but it's kind of, I mean, I think America, society and culture is this way, that it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
You know? What do you think?
I guess to answer the first question, I think the reason why people are so stuck on the 6-figure mark is because $50,000 for a person that graduated college is kind of like a starting off range, right? But like doubling that, right? Like 200,000 will kind of be out of reach for a lot of people, majority. So I think 100,000 is kind of like that sweet spot. So I think that's why people aim for that $100,000 range, and that's why they give you the head nod when you hit that $100,000 range. So I think it's like just the most common amount that is like attainable, but still like, wow, you did a lot of work to get there.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Does it mean that you've made it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
So would you say, like, I guess I'm thinking of our question of like, what is true wealth? Would you say then, like, what role does that play here then?
Yeah, what is true wealth, and I think goes back to my answer before, is supplying, it's relative, but it's supplying what you need and what you want, if we're talking about a monetary perspective, right? Because I think wealth is so much more than just that. And I still want to touch on the self-love aspect.
Yeah.
But it's supplying what you need and what you want. And I think single person making $100,000, again, not in San Francisco, not in New York, not in these higher cost of living areas, $100,000 goes a long way. If you're using it the right way, right? Now, you still can't go buy a $900,000 house, crazy car. Like, you can't do those things.
Yeah.
But it allows you to live comfortably.
Like, we just both agreed that, like, it takes a lot of work to get to that 6 figures.
Sure.
Sacrifice comes with that work. Oftentimes that sacrifice is relationships, is family, is community.
Especially for women.
Especially for women.
For sure.
And I would say, I did live in New York for a little bit, and I did get caught up in the whole like hustle culture and like work. And a lot of those things fell off for me. I lost community, I lost friendships, I lost relationships because I was so focused on my work. I wasn't doing it out of a sense of like, it didn't come from greed. It wasn't like, I gotta hit this number, I wanna make this money. It came from just like the opportunities that I was getting was exciting for me. And like, that's why when you ask the question, like when you hit the 6 figures and you look around and you say, did you make it? I think most people would hit the 6 figures, look around and be like, if they did it in the more like traditional sense, I think it's very tough to hit those 6 figures and look around and be like, and I still got my family and I still have my relationships and I still have my friends and I'm healthy and like have a balance behind it. Yeah. I think that's very rare, and it's possible, but it's very tough to do.
I was assuming you have those things.
Oh, okay. Well, fair.
But no,
I was assuming you didn't, so that shows the difference in us.
If you hit the lotto today, but you about to die tomorrow of cancer, I mean, hey, what difference does it make?
Yeah, fair.
Well, cool. Can we go in a different direction?
Yeah, please.
When you first thought of the question, and same with myself, is that we thought about what was important, right? And for me, money is important. However, there's another aspect of importance that I think is more important than money.
Yep.
It was my first answer, right? If someone were to ask me what's real wealth, my first answer is self-love, right? And I think that's real wealth. That's most important, right? Because you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't love who you are and accept who you are, then the money means nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And I've seen in occasions where people have nothing, but they're the happiest people, right? I remember this one time when I was on a cruise.
Where'd you go?
We went to Jamaica, me and my buddies.
Wow, that's fun.
Shout out to my boy Code and my boy Derek.
Oh,
you know
gosh.
what I'm saying? But we took a cruise, and incredible time, right?
Would you go on a cruise again?
Absolutely.
I went on a cruise once and never again would I do it.
Oh, that experience was like top notch. One of the best trips I've ever had.
The one thing I remember is the unlimited ice cream. Did you guys have that on your cruise?
We had unlimited everything. But
everything,
mostly,
even drinks.
Oh my,
oh Lord, well that's why you loved it.
We had the wristbands. You paid $250 for the wristband. You drink all day.
Wow.
Literally, we were waking up going right to the bar.
I mean, why not?
I mean, yeah, it was a good time. It was
Nice.
a good time. All right, so I remember us being in I said Jamaica, right? We went to the Bahamas.
Oh, you drank so much you couldn't even
drank
remember.
so much, but we went
Somewhere over there.
we went to the Bahamas, right? And
Okay.
we took a tour. We were going snorkeling. I remember just talking to this guy who was our tour guide, and I mean, like when we go to these like different countries, you can tell like this is what they do for a living. They don't have much. He was talking to us about the place and the area of which he lived, but like you can tell he didn't have much. But just his spirit, right? He could have been selling us, but I doubt
Yep.
it. You could tell in his spirit that he was just the most happiest, like kindest human being, right?
Yeah.
And he just wasn't into the lifestyle of just having things. It was about the simplistic aspects of life. I say that to say this. I know that self-love and happiness is more important than wealth in terms of a monetary perspective. Yeah.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, I think
Why you got so many things then? why you got so much stuff?
oh gosh. Well, yeah, I don't have self-love on mine, but I do think, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I
Yeah.
think that I think wealth has nothing to do with money is where I like really agree with you. I think it has to
Yeah.
do a lot with character and who you are and what your morals are and who you have around you.
Yeah.
I think that people with a lot of money and who don't have those things are actually very lonely and very sad. I wonder, because the American culture it hit the six figures, that it makes me question these other cultures. I mean, I lived in Spain for a while, and they're notorious for having this culture of taking a siesta. So in the middle of the day,
You just sleep.
they just go to bed. They're like, peace out, we're closing the shop.
Yeah.
We're closed for like 3-4 hours. Maybe we might not even reopen. Who knows? Depends how we're feeling that day. And it's no stress.
Yeah.
You would never see that in America.
No.
Like that's just not like we got to make money. We got to improve the business. How do I we're constantly thinking of more, how to make more.
For sure.
That you look at these other cultures and you see to the extent that like they literally go home and take a nap or like have lunch with their family. It's a beautiful thing. However, for somebody like myself, and I think like you as well, like I don't think that means that you can't be ambitious. It doesn't mean that you can't have goals and like want to achieve things. But and I think we were talking about this one day, that it's like having the right ambition and having the right motivation behind it is what's going to guide you and give you the purpose into what?
You think we were talking about it?
I thought we were.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Because I brought it up.
Oh. But that's what's going to
I
guide
like how
you.
you used it though.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I like
give
it.
you credit.
That means it stuck with you.
It did.
Yeah, all right.
But I think that's what determines like when you reach that goal, like did you do it the right way? Long answer, but I guess I'm just saying that I agree that I think at the end of the day, true wealth really is whatever characteristics and morals are important to you. For you, it's self-love. I think that's a great one. For me, it's those four that I don't even remember. I think it's like knowledge, family, relationships, and health.
Yeah.
Those are my 4 pillars that like if I have those in check and I'm making money, I'm doing all right.
You think self-love falls in between those 4 somewhere?
Yeah, I would say it's like health and relationships.
Gotcha. Fair.
Like family, relationships, health.
Yeah. You mentioned living in Spain, right? Mm-hmm. Would you say that since their culture is like a lot different than ours,
Yeah.
would you say that they're a lot happier than we are?
They definitely have a lot more happiness in some areas of life that Americans don't.
Like what?
Like family and like they really, really value family. And you can tell that like if family is beyond just blood, like family, like in Spain, I was sick one day and there was this restaurant that I would go to constantly and they noticed that I was sick and I just ordered my regular like little, it was, oh my gosh, it's all coming back to me. It was called Pan de Queso, was the place.
Oh, I love that place.
You've never been?
In Spain.
Okay.
Oh, I love that place so much.
So good.
Pan de queso.
Yeah, it's called Pan de Queso, and they basically, it's like these little cheese balls. You know,
The little ones.
Please. And they like fill it with different things, right? So
Yeah.
anyways, I was ordering my regular thing. This place only sold pan de queso, like, which is these little cheese balls with like little fillers. They didn't sell anything else. When I was done, the waitress brought out like a whole, like 2 or 3 buckets of like chicken noodle soup, some tea, like things that they don't even have on the menu. They just cooked it up for me.
Yeah.
You would never see that here in America. And that's them like looking out for their neighbor, like taking care of their neighbor.
Yeah.
So I think they have a lot of fulfillment and happiness in that sense. But I think there's other areas in which, like, I mean, you see the society in Spain and like
Sure.
how they're doing from like an economic standpoint, and it's bad. Like, it's not great. And you don't have to go far to figure out why. Like,
Because of the naps.
you close every single day. Like, what
'Cause
you
of the-
mean? Like, economic.
mean? She from the east side.
Oh Lord.
What you mean?
What you mean? You know, so
Because it's the naps.
yeah, well, and more, but it's just
Yeah.
you guys are know which way is the right way, but like Americans are over indexing on like money,
Work.
greed,
Yeah.
work, and in Spain and most European cultures are over indexing on family, culture.
I think I would much rather have family.
Family.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
Like, without it. Like, it's not even within question,
Me too.
you know? Yeah, and I think that just goes back to my view of, like, what is real wealth,
Yeah.
right? I prioritize a life outside of work. You know, I'm interested in other aspects of life. So,
And I think that's fantastic. I
Yeah.
think that's wealth. Like, that's really where true wealth is if you're able to find that balance and keep those boundaries up to protect the two, to make sure that you're feeling fulfilled and challenged at work, but you're also feeling fulfilled and loved with your self-love, with your relationships, with your family, and the passions that you're interested in.
I agree. I think that should just be the ending.
That's it. That's a wrap on episode 2. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're 2 weeks back to back.
2 weeks.
We'll see you guys hopefully next week as well. Hopefully we're
We're not
keep it
doing
going.
hopefully.
Sorry.
We're sticking to our
We're sticking
guns.
to it.
We'll see you guys Tuesday. Please comment, like, subscribe, share. Send it to anyone you know. Again, all feedback is necessary feedback.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
And if you guys have any suggestions of what you would want to hear us talk about, leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
We're open to it. Cool.
Peace.
Bye guys.
Yeah, I got it.
You a money machine, cause I'm counting on you.